Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ask ServiceMonster show, where you've got questions for your service business, and we've got your answers. Today's question comes from Jim, and it's well written, and I'm going to pick it apart, so let me read this to you. I have 7 employees, and it's starting to drive me crazy. I've got to go out on jobs, answer questions from the office, go out on estimates, train my guys, manage all the activity, and try to double check everything when it's all done. How do I find and train a good manager to help me? How much should I pay them when they're not actually bringing in revenue? So, we're in the busy season, and I'm sure the phone is ringing off the hook. A lot of you guys in that mid position, right? 500,000, a little bit larger, 700,000, 800,000, and things are starting to pick up, get really busy, and you're looking to grow and use that as leverage. There's a couple keys to this question that I want to dive into, but the essence is leading leaders. How do you lead leaders? How do you cultivate people either within your organization or bring them in internally and help you actually run the organization? That's what we're going to tackle today. So 2 things in his note that I want to point out. The first being, he says, how do I find and train a good manager to help me? It's critical that you understand the training bit, because training people to do the job of manager is different than training them to be a technician, to actually do the work. Here it would be slinging the code or providing the customer support. For you guys, it's pushing the wand or actually cleaning the home. And the second bit, a little more insidious, wrapped up in his wording. Here he says, how much should I pay them when they're not actually bringing in any revenue? So obviously, he feels like he's giving away a piece of the pie, right? And yet this person's not doing anything to earn. So he is manager adverse. He doesn't see the middle management bureaucracy of being that much value until he does. Because he's got so much going on right now, he's finding it impossible to actually work on his business. Now he's actually being a manager. Okay, so before we dissect this, little shameless plug. Some of you may have seen ServiceMonsters having our first Mastermind Symposium. It's August 13th and 14th here in beautiful Bellingham at the Bellwether. It's an amazing hotel. The venue is great. It's right on the Pacific coast. And for 2 days, we'll be challenging you to think about how you grow your business through domination. We'll show you a handful of things that you can do in ServiceMonster, some deep dives one-on-one with your organization, and we'll give you a tour of ServiceMonster. In addition, great food, great speakers, and a good time shall be had by all. 25 seats. We're keeping it really small this first time around. We want this to be intimate with business owners talking about their businesses openly. And then we'll be guiding those conversations and having some great mindful discussions with those as well. So join us. Tickets are $500, and Michael will post a link in the show notes below. So leaders, leading leaders. What's this all about? How do we approach this? How do we get the right mindset? I'll start with a book suggestion, because I'm going to ride on the coattails here a little bit. E-Myth. I had suggested it in the top 10 books. It actually suggests really good ways to put systems in place and helps get your mind straight on the fact that you wear 3 hats: a technician, a manager, and an entrepreneur. Your technician is the one who's doing the work, pushing the wand, cleaning the home. The manager is the person managing and auditing the work that's being done, making sure things happen appropriately, make sure people are trained correctly, answering any questions that the customers may have. The entrepreneur is the visionary, driving the direction of the company forward, making sure that things are happening the way they need it from the managers. And then having the confidence to do that, are able to drive towards whatever special sauce they bring to the table. Some of you guys are amazing salespeople. Others, the technical cleaning aspect is really where you focus. Whatever it is, you want to concentrate your skill, the thing that made your business great, and just basically boil that essence down so that becomes your primary function. So through the context of this discussion, I really want you to focus on that, right? The different roles between technician, manager, and entrepreneur. Now, your first inclination might be to pull from internal resources. I mean, you have 5, 6, 7 guys already, right? So why not make one of them one of the leaders? Well, the first question you have to ask yourself is, do they want it? A lot of people don't want to manage people. They understand how sticky and difficult that can be. and they'd rather just perform the technician aspect of writing the code, pushing the wand, or cleaning the home. Now, there's some debate on whether great leaders are born or made. And yeah, you can have characteristics that will help you in your leadership quest, or the leadership quest of the leaders you're trying to cultivate. But they have to want it first. And if they do, then whether or not you think they have the skills, it might be worth exploring. Leaders lead in different ways. The problem is, it really shows how effective you are as a leader. Now, hiring leaders, you really can think about this in two ways. Are you hiring them before they've established their leadership presence? Or are you looking to cultivate younger talent and turn them into leaders? Or are you looking that someone's already got an established reputation, they've been doing it for a while, maybe they've been a manager in other endeavors? Whatever the case may be, know that there's different flavors that you can pull, and a lot of it's going to have to do with how effective you are. Leading others to be leaders and managers in your company will be one of the most challenging obstacles you will face. It's not easy, right? You want them to have some form of independence, but at the same time, you want to strictly control the responsibilities and accountability of the work that's being done from the people that they're accountable for. This challenge really does bring out the worst in your leadership skills. So, taking this seriously is a good idea, and learning how to teach leaders and affect managers and change is always a good place to put your efforts. Now, managers are going to be self-directing. So at what point do you direct their activities versus directing their purpose, directing the project, and letting them use the resources necessary to get the work done to the quality and specifications the company has provided? Now, obviously, there's a lot of little things going on in there, including the mention or subcontext of SOPs. Standard operating procedures will always play a role as you build levels within your company. Now, some effective traits that you can cultivate to be an effective leader of leaders consists of, number one, being a good leader of yourself. Developing a routine, something that's just automatic. That doesn't even really matter what the routine is, as long as there is a consistent routine and you're managing yourself well as a leader. That includes education, continuing to read books and articles, watch television or podcasts, whatever you need to do in order to make yourself have better EQ. Another highly effective trait of a good leader is communication. Being able to have those face-to-face text or email discussions, communicate your idea, have it well received, and then move that message forward. Part of being a good communicator knows when to use those mechanisms, when not to send the angry email, but instead bring them in for a conversation, right? When not to just praise via a text, maybe actually do something that's more visible to everybody else. Be a highly effective communicator, and that will seriously help your ability to lead the leaders within your organization. Establish a clear mission. You've heard me talk about this, right? Find your why. If you have a single banner that everyone can get behind, then you would be amazed. All products, all projects, all services, everything that you do gets checked against that main mission. And it'll get to the point where the managers just know, does it fit within the mission objective? And they then become a lot less reliant on you. So if you can hand that vision to them so they can make it their own, they will do the work of leading other resources and people to make sure that that's accomplished. Make sure you're intuitive about how your people can contribute, how their leadership skills can actually help other people, and leverage that, use that. They'll know that they'll feel important, and that's exactly what you're trying to drive here. Leaders are driven by the fact that they want to feel important and they want to have a mission that they can go to and have everybody win, right? Their team and themselves and the company as well. Now, a big trap some of you guys will get in is managing them the same way you do technicians. It's not the same thing. Technicians, you're helping to manage activities, projects, and accountability. When you're managing managers, it's a bigger scope. Again, you're going to assume that they're going to be doing a lot of that themselves, managing the people to get the work done, to get the tasks complete. You're looking now at procedures and process, getting them to implement those and making sure everyone is on the same page. Now, it's super frustrating for leaders to get led by somebody they think is an idiot. So if they don't jive in whatever way, that's just going to eventually cause enough friction for you guys to part ways. Continuing to improve yourself as a leader is just necessary to business. You're going to make mistakes, and when those mistakes happen, you'll lose some people, and then you'll replace those people and you'll get better. And again, just like everything else, it's an iterative cycle. Over time, if you're continuing to improve, so will your organization. All right, guys, 3 things wrapping up. Number 1, in order to be a good leader, you must first learn how to lead yourself. Pay attention, pick up some materials, and be focused and mindful on adapting and improving this skill. Number 2, leading leaders and managers will be one of the most difficult challenges you will face. Take it seriously, pay a lot of attention, and see if you can get the right people in the right seats. And number 3, drive a mission. Your captains and generals will fall in line. Get out of their way and let them do the work that needs to be done. Coach along the way, show them areas of improvement, but let them succeed and point out when they do. From everyone here at ServiceMonster, thank you so much for your attention. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, go check out the demo, and give us a call.